Let's go over something I think is pretty neat about rapport. It's called how to recognize red zones. How to recognize red zones. This is actually about rapport and about seduction. So, before I drew a couple of things like this, right? Little bars like this came to me explaining seduction, little graphs. One had emotional, logical, that one. Another had emotional, logical that way. Emotional, logical that way. And we went over, as we went over before, we said that this side is the side during which seduction exists. A heightened emotional brain and a deficited, weaker, logical brain. But there's another element to this as well. And the other element has to do with how fast you build rapport and how fast she's used to going into seduction. Okay? More than how fast you're building rapport, it's actually even more important than how much you build rapport for this concept. How much you build rapport. So, it's pretty common knowledge that if you build a lot of rapport with someone, you build a lot of trust with someone. You build a lot of trust with someone, then it's pretty common knowledge that they're going to trust you more whenever you become sexual. So that's why a lot of guys want to learn rapport. They want to learn rapport because they think that they get a lot of resistance from women sexually, but they don't build a lot of rapport. Which is true, but not my point really. It's true. There's a reason why you get resistance. We'll call this last minute resistance, but it's not actually last minute resistance. It doesn't make sense to some people because they're like, why? How come we're here and all of a sudden you don't want to anymore? What's wrong with you? I'm not big on that doesn't make sense and who cares why. I'm very big on that doesn't make sense and so therefore it doesn't make sense. So we haven't explored it. Doesn't make sense. Don't brush that off. It's very important. So here's the reason why. Just looking at this side. When someone has a heightened emotional state, their logical state begins to deaden. It starts to drop while this goes up. If we had no control over this process, we have very little control. If we had no control over this process, we would always make emotional decisions when our emotions got heightened. We would always do that. But we have a survival mechanism that says, don't do that. Something says, wait. You should think about this. It's like your logical brain going, I'm dying right now. Let me just use all my last energy to say one last thing to you. Whoa, wait a second. Don't make this decision yet. Think about it for a minute. Think about it. And traditionally what you've been taught to do is plow through that when it happens. Plow through that. So if a girl is with you and you guys are intimate and you're about to probably at least fool around and she's going to be very vulnerable around you and you see that her logical brain's screaming, hey, wait a second, don't do this, you don't even know this guy very well. What you've been taught to do is ignore that thing. Ignore that thing when she says it out loud. Ignore it or deal with it in some kind of way. That's not a holistic approach to meeting women. In fact, it's very manipulative. And what's worse is that it's not very efficient. It's not a very efficient way of doing it. It's a really weak-minded way of doing it. So what ends up happening is, if you get through that, her logical brain's still dead, she makes an emotional decision, then what? She leaves the next day thinking, oh my God, what did I do? What did I do? You have a negative association with her. And then you can't sleep with her again. Can't sleep with her anymore. You just lost that relationship. Not just the sexual relationship, but the emotional relationship as well. The emotional one. So, I personally think that the traditional approach to plowing over that resistance is like putting a Band-Aid over a bullet wound. Putting a Band-Aid over it. Okay, well, let me just put this over this bullet wound so I feel better about it. Okay, cool. Let's go. I'm good. Now, you get a bullet in there. You bleed to death. What's happening? You have to fix the solution beforehand. You can't just put this Band-Aid over it and plow over top of that resistance. That's not how it works. It's not resistance for no reason. It's resistance for a reason. And that's one of the most important things that we need to learn about this and about seduction. Why is it happening? It's happening because we have something called a red zone. A red zone on our logical brain. A red zone on our logical brain. When your logical brain drops to a certain point, you hit, let's do this, the red zone. When you hit the red zone, the flag is sent up that overrides everything. It takes priority. It says, wait a second, something weird's going on here. Stop everything you're doing. Don't make any decisions at all. Stop whatever you're doing. So what happens is when we get to this red zone in the logical brain, we start to see resistance from this person. But that doesn't explain why some people that you know really well trust you so much, and they don't have as much red zone with you. I can go pretty far, because they know me really well. So why is that? The reason why most guys get into rapport in the first place is because whenever you build rapport, you lower the red zone. You lower the red zone. The red zone gets smaller, which means that logical attraction can go lower. They can give in to their emotions more and not feel like they need to stop themselves. When you build rapport and you build trust, this red zone starts to deplete. It's smaller and smaller and smaller. So that voice never happens. If you're getting last minute resistance from a girl you're going out with, you have not built rapport with her, or nearly enough to be sleeping with her. She doesn't know if she can trust you. That's most likely what's going on. She doesn't know if she can trust you. And all we've been taught to say is, no, trust me. Trust me. Trust me. No, that's not how it works. That's not how it works, guys. It's not just a trust me, trust me, trust me. Or tricking them into trusting you, which is even worse. Because then they realize they shouldn't have trusted you at all. They should have trusted you. And that's what they think. That's what they walk away with. I screwed up. I shouldn't trust guys so much. That's what they leave with. And that's wrong. So, as you build rapport, this red zone gets smaller and smaller and smaller and smaller. If you build rapport properly, the red zone will depleted past this. Only to here. Very little. And they can let go of that part of the red zone that stops them from having sex with you because they think they don't trust you. But again, you have to keep in mind that the red zone's there for a reason, to stop guys who have ulterior motives. If you have an ulterior motive and you don't actually care about her, you will be found out. You will be found out. And you will get resistance forever. So your shortest path to getting the kind of results you want from women is still going to be being real and honest, regardless of how you look at it. That's going to be the shortest path. I know a lot of guys don't want to hear that. They don't want to open up. But that's how it is. That's the truth. Red zones happen often, especially when you begin to escalate quickly with touch. The red zone, then they will start to feel sexually attracted to you earlier. They'll feel sexually attracted to you earlier, which means the red zone's even higher because you haven't built any rapport. Red zone's even higher. This is very important, this concept. So it kicks in our logical brain and tells us not to make emotional decisions. That's one of the reasons why when people buy my programs, I suggest that they think about it and research it. I don't go, buy it now, or tick, 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 tick. Time's running out. You know? If I do have an actual amount of seats that are being that we run out of, I will tell people, but it's always honest. The reason why is because if someone feels emotional and they buy the program, guess what they do? Either want way too much on the program, and they are a pain in the ass the entire time, or they want a refund. Always is how it is, you know? Because they get buyer's remorse. They bought in an emotional state. It's a high price point item, so they're like, why would I do that? I should have thought about that. And then they have a negative association with buying my program. I should have thought about it, and it didn't. You know? My fault. That was my fault. I won't let that happen again. I won't fall for buying this program again because I bought it in an emotional state without even coming. Of course, if they came here, they would learn a lot, you know. And I know that, but I still don't do that. The reason why is because it's a marketing tactic. It's a lot like plowing through resistance. I don't like it. I'd rather people know about it, and they trust, and they buy with authority, and they feel like you feel like more of a man when you come to the program. I made a good decision to be a better man, not was that bad? I don't know about that. The same thing happens when it comes to women, attracting women. And you will have the marketers, you know, the marketers out there and the pickup dudes out there who say the end goal is to get the sale or to get the close. To sleep with a girl, that's the end result. That's what I want, that's the end goal. Who cares how you get there? Who cares? I don't care. Lie if you have to. You know? And all they can really hope is that people don't find them out. Or people are too lazy to resist forever. So if you're doing this to women, what you're doing is you're filtering out the women who are actually worth something. Because the women that are worth something are the ones that will resist you. If you're dating somebody and a girl resists you, if you're dating someone, don't you want to think that your girlfriend will resist other men that are coming on her? Don't you want to think that? Of course you do. So the girls that actually stop you from sleeping with them, you end that relationship. And the girls that don't, that have buyer's remorse, you continue with that relationship. So you do nothing but filter out the girls who are good for you, filter in the girls that are weak. Weak women. Weak-willed. So long term, that sucks. Try it out, but the way to actually fix the problem is to build stronger rapport and go through the process and really make yourself vulnerable. Open up. Some women need a lot of rapport to drop this barrier, this red zone. Some women need a lot of it. And most women are going to want to sleep with you anyway. They want to. But you have to give them a reason to. You have to let them trust you. They have to trust you. You have to be trustworthy in the first place. If you're not trustworthy, then you got to start there. You got to start by making yourself trustworthy, by being honest. Start with your inner game, which is what the first day of this program is all about. Hacking yourself. Hacking yourself. It's important. Are there any questions about recognizing and understanding red zones? Everybody? Great. Good.
Reverse it, like say you had sex with a girl, you're not having sex with her anymore.
You're having sex with a girl, and you're not having sex with her anymore because of resistance.
I don't know. Maybe that's why. Maybe because she's built up something on her.
Yeah, whenever, okay. That's a good, that's
She
hang on.
doesn't have enough rapport.
Okay, no, hang on. That's a really important part. That's a really important concept. Here's another concept of rapport that I think is very important. Whenever you build rapport with somebody, it increases your trust. It also increases your investment your investment in a relationship. Let's say your rapport, it's right here. That's how much you've invested. Right? Great. Okay? You both have pretty much the same rapport. Let's say that she thinks about you a little bit more, so her rapport is a little bit taller. Not much, right? Not much taller. She's invested a little bit more. She's thought about you more than you thought about her. Because whenever you think about somebody, you automatically build the same type of rapport with them, only they're not going with you. They're not going with you necessarily. So if you're thinking about somebody over and over again, you're accidentally building a fictitious relationship with them in your head. And it's usually all sunshine and rainbows because you don't picture any bad shit happening. You know? You're like, oh, this is great, fantastic, we're so in love, fantastic. So let's say that this is you and this is them, okay? Their rapport with you is this much, your rapport with you is this much. It's a really healthy relationship, it's good. Something goes wrong. Something goes wrong. Somewhere down the line, you stop accepting them as a person. You start judging them. And all that rapport that you built up was really positive, now turns negative. Turns negative. So now, instead of having somebody who's like, okay, well, I don't like you anymore. Because I don't like you, I'm going to treat you like I treat everybody else I don't like, which is just not think about it. No. That doesn't happen. This rapport stays that strong. Or now, it turns to angry rapport. Angry rapport. Now they've got nothing better to do than to screw your life up. They've invested so much, instead of it being positive, now it's all negative. All negative rapport. How do you switch that back around? It's really hard to. It's really hard to. Because now they don't trust you. Now, not only do they not trust you a little bit, they don't trust you the negative amount that they trust you before. The opposite. That's how much they don't trust you now. That's why it's so important to accept people in relationships. You ever heard the concept, worst enemies are the worst enemies are the best friends that used to be. Your worst enemies are your best friends that you used to have.
It's like people get together and then break up, and get back together and break up.
Well, it's not like that. People who get together and break up all the time aren't necessarily creating a strong negative rapport. They maybe still have acceptance with each other. This is the kind of thing that no matter what happens, they want to hurt you like you hurt them. And a lot of women are, people who do this typically are the type 2s on the Enneagram. Type 2s are helpers. They want to help other people. They're selfless. That's what I think, at least.
Or maybe she and me, and I don't want to have sex with her.
Okay, you're in your head now. That wasn't what I'd say. It's okay. Don't be sorry.
I mean, I'm not sorry.
So, are you a fascinating person? Do you see how fascinating you are? It's amazing how fascinating we are, in my opinion. How predictable we are. You know? How when you type yourself, you fall right into that type with all your actions. Isn't that amazing? It's just amazing to me. I think it's an amazing thing. I marvel at how I will make mistakes that are obviously perceived mistakes that a judge would never make. You know? Obviously extrovert mistakes an introvert would never make.
Like somebody says something to me, I'm like, okay, I'm like, wait a minute. Procedure.
Yeah, about what to do.
Yeah.
Yeah. You know, it's funny. But anyway, so.
I don't want to forget. I feel like I want to forget this.
Okay, well then you probably will. You're gonna forget it, dude. You're gonna forget it. It's already done. Forget what? What are we even talking about? Do you know it? Are you even paying attention? You're not paying attention. You know what I gotta tell you? The reason why you should chill about this and not even care, if you remember it, is because tension causes a lack of retention. Tension causes a lack of retention. The more you stress out about taking notes and remembering this stuff, the less you're going to remember. Tension causes a lack of retention. That's why I made it mandatory that I took the money out of my account to buy LiveScribes. Thousands of dollars worth of LiveScribe pens that I bought. Why? Because it's worth it. Because you guys will get a better understanding of the material when you leave here than if you didn't have it. Because otherwise you'd be stressed out about remembering everything. And then I have to buy the DVD set. Oh no! So instead of thinking about, oh no, I gotta get this, I gotta get this. Instead, just think about, it's cool. I have it all on my live scribe. No big deal. I can just listen to it later. Don't worry about it. And if you lose it, a ton of people, 6 other people have it on their live scribe. 6 other people. That's how many people have live scribes. I got 7 of them. So you don't have to worry about that.
If you want to remember, you will remember.
That's not a.
But if I'm not,
That won't compute with him. That's not the way that you would use this conversation. Instead it would be more like, hey, you
there
know.
are lots of people here that you can come to.
He's good. So
It's on the list, right?
it works.
You have Josh's
Yeah.
You have Josh's number.
I'm gonna take all this back at the end of the class. I'm gonna take all this back at the end of the class, all the pens, and sell them to you again for like $6,000. How funny is that? Here it is. Got your notes. I'm gonna hold them for ransom.
You can
So-
sell it on eBay. When we all become good.
What's that?
When we all become good, you can sell it on eBay.
I can sell them eBay right now. I'd probably get less than what I'd get for a live scribe pen if it was just new. But so I knew what they were doing with it. It'd be good. Let's continue on. Let's see. No. Let's talk a little bit about getting into rapport and losing control. Okay? The fear associated with rapport is that you're going to start talking about something that you haven't talked about in a long time or ever, and you're going to start bawling, crying, seeming weak. Which I understand the fear, because I understand it completely. That would seem weak. You're going to want to control your emotions because you're probably going to want to be of the mindset that you want to be the male gender role, play the male gender role. So you're probably going to control your emotions all the time, not let it out. But women have to, if they want to play the female gender role, they have to have that emotion come from you. They don't want to think that every time you start to feel you lose control of your emotions. So let's say that you're with somebody for the first time, you're building rapport with them, and it gets to a topic that's pretty heavy for you. Your childhood, something with your family, some of the kids making fun of you, or insecurity that's driving your life that you currently have. If you realize you bit off more than you can chew in the relationship or in the conversation, the best tool you can use to control your emotions in that moment is going to be to look up. To look up. Don't look down, just look up. Keep looking up. If you start looking down in that moment, you're going to go deeper and deeper into that situation. Of course, if you want to build stronger rapport about another topic or any other topic that you have control over, looking down will help you get there. Looking down will help you build more rapport. So if you want to build strong rapport, just keep looking down when you're talking. You know, your feelings will keep coming to you. It'll be never ending. We'll talk about stuff forever. It'll be great. But once you get onto a topic and you realize, holy crap, this is too much for me. And this is just too deep for me right now. You have to verbalize it, and you have to start looking up. I have tested this, and the best response I've ever gotten from anything I've ever said was whenever I said, I'm sorry, I'm just getting really emotional about this, and I need to take a step back for a second and cool down. I just need to cool down for a minute. This is what I need to do. So, sorry, just one second. Just give me a second. I say that out loud because you're in rapport. So your body language is going to be saying it all anyway. So you might as well have what's called a statement of what's so. Statement of what's so. Of what is so. That just says, okay, well, you can read me already, so let me just go ahead and state it out loud. This is what I'm feeling right now. Statement of what's so. You say that by going, hey, look, I'm really emotional right now. I'm it's one of those topics that's really, I don't know, it hurts me a lot to think about, or obviously it's still holding on to me, so I'm sorry, but I don't know if I can, I might need to back out a little bit of this. And you know what she's going to say? She's going to say, no, it's great, I know, I understand. If you need time, that's cool. But this is what a woman who is playing the female gender role lives for. This is you saying, here's your place in my life, right here. I need somebody who can do this job. Who can say, whenever I'm feeling overwhelmed with the emotion of something, who I trust enough to let it out to. But I'm not going to lose control so much. I'm not going to lose control so much that you feel like you've got more on your plate than you can handle. I very rarely cry. Very rarely. Very, very rarely. I do, but it's very rare when I do it.
But it's the best feeling.
Crying? That's an opinion. That's the best feeling. Okay, that's. I envy that. You know, it is good. I know it releases, but I don't feel good releasing. So that's like, again, that's my archetype, my type of on the Enneagram says that it doesn't say this, but it's true for me. I'm typically a type 7. Type 3. Type 3, which means that I'm a go. It's not efficient for me to cry. It doesn't make sense for me to cry. It makes the girl who I'm with, or people around me, feel like they need to take care of me. And that means I naturally don't want to, but if I didn't ever cry, or didn't ever show that I needed help. It's not about crying, it's about showing I need help with my emotions. Then there would be no space for anyone to step into my life to fill that void. And that's a space that a woman typically wants to fill. That's a space she wants to fill. Very, very important concept. This plays directly back into gender roles. So whenever you do start to lose control, you're going to have to accept that you are losing control, say it out loud, and just ask for permission to not go deeper right now. Or if you do want to go deeper, say, look, I'm going to go deeper into this, but I might start crying a little because this is like really intense to me. Always say it ahead of time. Don't just surprise them with crying. Don't do that. See it coming and let them make a decision to go deeper and handle it. Okay? Let them make that decision. Warn them. Warn them. Yeah?
So, is this in the context of only the 4 topics that are not happy ones? I don't.
Not necessarily.
To see myself crying about green bubblegum.
Right, where you have no emotional association with green bubblegum. So let's take a very happy moment. Yeah. You ever been so proud that you've cried?
Not once.
So proud like something that you did? What if, imagine this for a moment. Imagine that you worked your entire life to get to the point where this one final moment was going to happen. Everyone knew. Let's say that you were playing football. Okay? Say that you were a running back. Okay? You're running back, you're playing football, and you sucked in the beginning, you worked really hard, nobody believed in you. You kept doing it. Hard, it was really hard. It took several years. Years and years and years. You get better. Your whole life's about football. Everything's about football to you. Everything's about improving as a running back. Everything to you. Now, your team started to get better because of you. There's another team that's very good too, that plays you sometimes, and you've always gotten beaten by them. Now you're in a championship game You're in the NFL. You're in, and this is it. This is it for you. You know? You're at the Super Bowl. You know this is the last play of the game. You're down by 5. There are 3 seconds left. Everyone on your team's like, dude, take us home. Dude, take us home. Please. Please, our entire lives are resting this. Please take us home. And you're like, oh man, oh man, oh man, oh man, oh man. Heights, you run out, ball comes at you, you catch it, you're running. You studied, you practiced so much. You read everybody like a book. Spin, over the touchdown. You get it. Everyone grabs you. Everybody, an entire nation is proud of you. Picks you up. Picks you up. And at that moment, your entire life has been fulfilled. Right? So, man, you have a different reason for being alive than challenging and conquering and playing football. You want to feel emotions. You want to sense things. You want to connect. Now imagine, and if I did this with you right now, I think it'd probably have a serious, crazy effect. But imagine that the same thing you've been waiting your entire life to do, to save someone from their own pain, the thing that you finally understand and you finally explain to them when they're on the edge of killing themselves, saves their lives. And now they're happy. You feel that? That's like it's like, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God. And that is a very emotional moment. So it won't always be a negative report topic, you know, that you're going into. And again, you can go into negative report topics after you've initially made that connection. But, good.
So you should always say, we can continue to talk about that if you want to, right, if you're objectives of that. We continue to talk about this, but I have to tell you, I'm still crying. I don't think I physically start crying, but I definitely do experience that release at some point. So maybe it's just a physical thing about it.
Sure. Yeah. Well, I mean, you may get emotional about it, you know, totally that too. I'm really attached to the subject, so I hope you don't mind if I might get a little emotional over this.
So you warn about the release, not necessarily like a physical act of crying.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, if every time you got really sad instead of crying, you farted, you probably would warn about that too. I'm not sure if that would be the case everywhere. But anyway, that's really important to know how to handle losing control, because when you get in a rapport, man, all sorts of stuff happens. All sorts of stuff happens. It gets really serious and really real really quick. Another thing a lot of guys have a problem with is they don't know how, they wonder why they get flaky girls. Everyone's flaky to them. They'll get numbers and the girls won't call. Like, why doesn't this girl call me? God damn. Every time I get a number, it's like I get 15, 20 numbers and no one calls. Or no one answers. You know, everyone ignores me. It never goes anywhere. Okay, well I can tell you why that is too. If your goal is to get the number, and you don't go into rapport, because you don't have to go into rapport to get a number. But if you don't go into rapport, then you're just like every other dude she's met. She has no investment in you. So after you get a telephone number from somebody, it's always best practice to talk to them for about 5 minutes and continue to build rapport. Don't get a number because it's like, oh shit, you're leaving, I better get your number. Don't do that. Get it in the middle of the rapport. And the way I usually ask for the number in the middle of the rapport is to go, hey, I don't want this to get interrupted or anything, and then I might have to leave all of a sudden or something, so why don't I go ahead and get your number now? Why don't I go ahead and get your number now before that happens so we can just relax and talk and hang out. What?
It makes perfect sense, I understand it, but for some reason I want to try opening to that.
I mean, that works.
It'd be hilarious.
It works. We've done it before. We've tested it before. It does.
Just so they can relax.
But you have to hand them the phone though whenever you do that. Do the compliance. Just so we can relax, we can hang out now. Why don't you go ahead and give me your number. We can get that out of the way, and then we can actually hang out. It shows them also that the goal for you is to hang out, not to get a number. Very, very crucial. Very crucial. And your flake rate will go way down, way down. You'll hardly get any flakes at all. People will be there. And when you do get flaky, go, that was weird. Or that's strange, that's not normal. But it's not normal. You'll probably end up thinking immediately, which is what I would think, that she must have a boyfriend, something she didn't tell me about. Or she must have some issue she needs to work out, or maybe she lost her phone, or maybe she had to move to Iraq. I don't know. I just think everything except she doesn't want to talk to me. Because I know that she does. You know? I know that she does want to talk to me. Because we built rapport. Okay, let's talk about tests. Tests you will get from women. Typically. First I want to talk about why it happens in the first place. Why do you get tested by women? Why do you get tested? So you feel comfortable, you know? So you just know, just so you know. You're probably fine, you should get tested. So, why do you get tests from women? Well, one of the major reasons why we get tests from women is because we have a different kind of mechanism that makes us a man. Women have what's called a filter mechanism. Men have what's called an approach mechanism. This is, of course, tied to a gender role, so this is generally speaking. Women who are playing the female gender role, anybody playing the female gender role has a filter mechanism. Anybody playing the male gender role, the traditional one, the new one even, has an approach mechanism. An approach mechanism says that if you can't approach a woman, you are not a real man. That's what it says to us. If you can't approach a woman and attract her, you're not a man. You're a weak man. You're a weak approach mechanism. We don't like that very much to hear that. That's not cool. We don't want to be like that. Typically, we want to be able to approach any woman ever. A really strong approach mechanism. Be able to go up and do that thing. You know? Because we have more options when we do that. We have more options. But women, though some may disagree with this because they feel like they have scarcity mentality, feel like they have a ton of options. They don't need more options. They need better options. It's a woman's job to filter out the men who are not going to work out, because if they try to date every single guy that likes them, they're never going to find the right guy. They'll waste way too much time. So they try to test you in the beginning. To make sure that you are okay. You're cool. You're worth their time. So, first kind of test that you're going to get that's going to help filter out the weak men, it's going to be, well, not necessarily the first kind, but one that you will get, called a compliance test. Compliance test is a test of your leadership. Test of your leadership and a test of your priorities. Compliance test is any kind of a test, any kind of action that you do, anything you do for someone that's inconveniencing you. So what women are going to want to do is they're going to get compliance from you. That's compliance. Oh, sorry, that was just compliance. The compliance test, then, is whenever someone intentionally does it, tries to get you to do something just to see if you'll do it. Not because it makes logical sense. How do you spot one, though? That's the big question. You can only spot a compliance test if it isn't logical when you think about it. It isn't a logical thing. So anytime someone asks you to do something in the beginning of a relationship, now whenever you're in rapport or you're already in a relationship with somebody, this is totally out the window. Doesn't matter. But only during the attraction phase, in the very beginning of the interaction, you'll get compliance tests. You'll also get congruence tests in the beginning as well. Only in the beginning. Won't be after that. So, compliance tests during the stage of attraction with someone you just met is any time that they ask you to do something that doesn't actually make sense for you to do. Wait here, I'll be right back, is one. Wait here, I'll be right back. Or, hold this. Or buy me a drink. It's the most common compliance test. The most common. They're framing you. They're trying to figure out where you exist. Is this a guy who will do anything I say? Because if he is, I can't date him, but I will use him. I will use him. Or I won't. But I can use him. Use him to get stuff. This is why if you get used a lot by women, it's your fault. It's not their fault. They're seeing that they can do it, and the ones that will do it. They don't care. Some of them won't. They'll just be turned off by it. Okay? It's very important. How do you pass a compliance test, though? How do you pass a compliance test? Compliance test is only passed when you do one of a few things. You can either, this is very important, either add your own rules. Add your own rules that they need to follow to the test. You do that. Also known as add your own terms to the compliance test. Your own terms. Just add your own terms. Add your own terms. The way that sounds is you do this. You go, okay, well, she says something like this, like, wait right here. I'll be right back. And you go, okay, actually I'm going to go to the bar, but I'll be waiting there. Talk to people. Key. Very key. Very big difference. Because they have no reason to argue with you about that. Unless their purse is there or something. You know? Then you just sit there, take it, and stop being an asshole. So, don't take the purse, just take the compliance. Clear that one up. I win. Add your own terms of compliance. Say, okay, well, I'm going to do this thing, which is slightly different than what you said. But I'll do that. I'll be over there. So come get the movie done. It's very important. You just ninja through a ninja star. Through a ninja star. Whoosh, you stay coming, you win. Your ninja beat out the pirates, which is what should happen. Ninjas should always beat pirates. In a world where happiness truly exists, ninjas beat pirates. Just so you know.
What pirates?
Just pirates.
Very good time.
So, another thing you can do, which I highly recommend, is you can trade for compliance. You can trade for other compliance for them. The way that comes out is that she says, wait right here, I'll be right back. Or, and even more common is, go ahead and, why don't you buy me a drink, right? Or are you going to buy me a drink? Compliance you can do, you can buy her a drink, but you have to either add your own terms. Yes, but I'm going to buy you water. Yes, but I'm going to buy you milk. Or yes, but whatever. Add your own terms. Or you can make them do something for you to trade for that. So you can say, sure, I'll buy you a drink if you tell me the best limerick you know. And it can't be, there once was a man from Nantucket. Not that one. Or, yes, I will buy you a drink if you write me an amazing haiku. I will buy you a drink if you dance for me right now. Go. I will buy you a drink if you give me a kiss on the cheek. I will buy you a drink if you buy me a drink that you think I would want. Another good one. If you buy me a drink that you think I would want, I'll buy you a drink that I think you would want. Of course, you're going to want to buy her a redheaded slut. If you can. Which is a really crappy drink. Or milk. And serve it on a saucer. Yeah?
I just popped in my head type thing. Buy me a drink. I just was hoping you could talk through this. So, buy me a drink. Okay, but it's going to be at that bar over there.
No.
Why?
That's adding your own terms.
Yep.
But that's you resisting the compliance. It's not you taking, think about redirecting the energy of the compliance. Not standing there and taking it head on. So when you say, alright, I'll buy you a drink, but it's going to be at that bar. Okay, well I guess that could work if she's not with a bunch of friends and she can leave and go to the bar.
Yeah, well I was thinking leveraging that to isolate potentially.
You can do that. If you know she's alone, or if you know something else is happening, or you know she can go over there. But if you don't know her, yet, or who she's there with, because you're in the stages of attraction. Right, it could work. It totally could. And I think it's an awesome idea. But you have to know that information ahead of time, that she can leave. Otherwise, it will backfire. The third way you can do it, which I highly recommend you don't do it, is argue with her logically about it. Like say this: "You can buy me a drink or what?" Well, why would I buy you a drink? Well, what are you, cheap? No. I mean, I buy my friends drinks all the time. What, so you don't like me? You think I'm stupid? Or you don't, what? You hate me? No. I hate you think you're cool. I'm just kind of wondering why I should buy you a drink. So that may wear her down, and it will work, but it won't always work. So that's like a last, if all else fails in that area, then go back to, not arguing necessarily, but talking about it logically. Because she will eventually realize that's not a very logical thing for you to do, to buy her a drink or to wait right there, or, you know what I mean? Like for example, if you get resistance on top of your new terms, okay, but I'm going to go to I will wait here, but I'll wait for you, but I'm going to wait at the bar, right? Wait over here. Then she's like, no, wait here. Then just go, why? Why am I waiting here? And she might go, because my purse is here, or some other really good reason. They go, oh, okay. I will wait here then. I'll get someone else to get me a drink. Or why, when you get back, go get me a drink from the bar and I'll wait here. Right? I would say arguing logically as like a last resort. Last resort. But it will work. You know? Keep stuck on this thing. So, that's compliance test. The next kind of test is called, why did I put a lowercase g? All the rest of my letters are all uppercase. I don't know. Congruence. What's that? Oops, I think I spelled congruence wrong too. What? Okay, great. See if any works. Alright. Women test for leadership in men, but they also test for confidence in men, which is one of their biggest filters. Congruence test. Test to see how confident you are. Not how confident you're acting, which they already know. But a lot of guys can fake confidence to women. So they're going to want to test you for your confidence. This often comes out in the form of insults. In the form of insults. And you're like, why? If you have an internal frame, you're very good at dealing with congruence tests. Why? Because your beliefs are more solid. Your beliefs are internally validated. And so you are more confident. By nature you are. You're an internal frame. But you don't grow as fast. Women are testing for this internal frame. So they'll give you all sorts of congruence tests. And they will be mean sometimes. Why don't you go away? That's usually a bad one. If you get that one, you might want to go away. But another one is, what are you at this bar by yourself? Where'd you get that silly hat? Why are you wearing those dumb glasses? What are you, a nerd or something? Where do you go to school? Nowhere? I don't think so. You know? That's a crappy school. I can't believe you're wearing that at a bar. I can't believe you're here by yourself. I can't believe you drink that thing. I don't like you for some reason. That's what's coming out. I don't like you for some reason. If they didn't like you, then why in the world would they say it? They wouldn't. They would just not talk to you if they don't like you. Congruence tests are very elusive. It seems like they don't like you. That's what it seems like for real. They do. They do like you. You don't get a congruence test unless someone likes you. If they don't like you, they will not give you a congruence test. How do you pass this test? Well, the best way to pass it is to plow through it, completely ignore it altogether like it never happened. You never heard it. You never imagined that someone ever even say it to you in a million years. You had selective hearing, you didn't even hear that thing at all. It didn't affect you in any kind of way. Selective hearing. Let's practice for this. Selective hearing. You take whatever positive thing you want out of that bucket, like I was saying. Only the positive stuff. None of the negative stuff. And if she stops you She gives you like 3 congruence tests in a row and they're all the same thing. Hey, leave. Don't bother us. Please, then leave. Say thank you. Nice to meet you. Sorry to bother you guys. Bye. Hope you feel better. Hope you have a better night. If you get the same congruence test over and over and over again, then you guys want to split. It's probably not even worth your time, really. She likes you so much more. But it does mean that she likes you. She's attracted to you. She is. That's what it means. You can also give her negative body language, but that means you're reacting, so I highly suggest you don't do that. If you give her negative body language and she gives you a congruence test, like, where'd you get that stupid hat? If you go, if you know she digs you and she's just giving you a congruence test, that will work.
What about nowhere?
But if you don't know if she digs you yet, and you're still building the attraction, you usually want to ignore it and drop a banter line. Anytime you hear an insult, drop a banter line. Drop one. Because you're not going to have anything else in your head. You're too busy processing how mean she is. So anytime you think that person's mean, you want to train your Pavlov response to be, you're so cute. That was really cute. Blah, 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 blah. Just one second. You also have to practice this a whole lot. Practice it a lot. One way you can practice it is if you say, if you have 2 friends together, you want another friend of yours, turn to them and say, hey, how's it going? And have them go, fuck you, asshole. And then you drop a banner line. And then make them go, you're stupid. Drop another banner line. Quick, quick, quick. You're ugly. Drop a banner line. I don't like you. Drop a banner line. Your clothes are stupid. Drop a banner line. Anything you can think of, like really poke at them, really get them bad. The banner line has to be dropped. You have to desensitize yourself to this. You have to. So when it happens, your immediate reaction is going to be like this. Bitch. So you don't want to think in your head. But that's not really what it means. And when you say that, you know what they say? Guess what? You failed a congruence test. You're not a confident guy. They should stop talking to you.
But if they're doing it a lot, then
Now if you're doing the same thing a lot, the same exact congruence test, if they do the same congruence test over and over and over and over and over again, they won't stop, they won't drop it. You're gonna have to go, hey look, what the hell's going on here? Do you really want me to leave? Or do you really think my clothes are that bad? Then stop talking to me. Like just be like, get out of here. Don't sit around and take it all day. What's your question?
So, 2 tactics. Banner across your through it. I'm very surprised that you said getting negative body language is not a good thing, because last night specifically, when that girl kept trying to tool on me, I knew I was having a conversation with you, and I could hear her just pulling on my shirt, talking shit to me.
Oh, okay, good.
And I was still looking at
Yep.
that, having a conversation on that. I didn't even pretend
Good.
that I didn't even see her there, so I thought that was very negative body language.
But you didn't give her more negative body language. You didn't
Oh,
react.
it's the same.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
You ignored her. Which is exactly what you want to do. I've had a guy before in my ear, because he liked the girl I was talking to, right here, in my face, screaming at me. And I was in seduction. So I didn't react at all to him. I was just talking to her in a normal voice, too. Looking directly into her eyes. Talking to her.
Did she react to him?
She started in the beginning, but then she got stuck back in the conversation. He was screaming and screaming. He screamed for about 20 seconds in my ear. So mad. So mad. Probably bought this girl a bunch of drinks. He'd probably been chasing her for months. And I just walked up and I was like, hey, look. Good, got it. You know? We were in seduction. We were there. And he was screaming at me. And I just stared at her when I was talking. It took a lot. If I, for 1 second, went like this, or this, I started tilting my head or blinking a bunch when I was saying certain things, closing my eyes, leaning away from him. Usually I do this. Someone's screaming in my ear, step in front of them and keep talking. Blah, 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 blah. It's not going to step in front of them, in between. So if he's here, she's here, I'll just do this.
What would you do if he physically boxed you up? Put a shoulder into you, nudged you over?
I physically box him up. Or, usually what I would do, here's what I usually do. They physically box me out. Let's say that I'm up against the bar here. And I'm sitting here looking against the bar and she's sitting here talking to me. And he comes, bam, in between, really close. I roll around, grab her hand, turn, and walk off with her. Immediately. Don't wait for anything to happen. Hand, immediately turn around, take her hand. Don't even look at him or her. Take her hand and walk off with her. And she'll get up and walk right out. Or if she doesn't, leave them. Leave them alone and let them do their thing. You know? That's cool. I don't want to be a part of that. Because that means that I haven't built enough attraction yet to make her want me. So I can't like think about being stuck on one girl. That happens. And plus, you know, that guy is preoccupied now, so you can do whatever you want to. The guy who waits for you to have success and then jumps in and tries to take it because he can't do the first bit, he'll always be reacting to what you're doing. You'll always be steps ahead of him. And if you're talking to several girls at one time, he can never come in. Never come in. Because he would feel scared to. And if he ever tried to, he'd come in, he'd just try to insult you. And then get you knocked out of there, you know, and try to be a part of it. But all you have to do is, if you have a group of people, go. Just turn around and stand next to them and look at him like you're part of the group. Look at him like you're part of the group. And then look at them like, you know this guy? Is this one of your friends? It's kind of weird. He's not a dick. Nothing. Kind of a weirdo. He's kind of creepy. Is he always this creepy?
If you're gonna get good at this, being at that level, stuff like this is gonna happen.
It's going to happen. You're going to have congruent test. If you don't have congruent test, you're not good at this. At all. You're not good. You're going to get them. You're not pushing your boundaries. No one likes congruent test. No one likes them. The only way to get over them, though, and to be better at them is to practice back and forth and practice back and forth and practice.